This is my daughter. Yeah, because
That's the one that couldn't find your house in the other day, couldn't find Highland. You were trying to find your way to Shane House. Yeah, were you like over at Marshall? Yeah.
That's a nice
So, great something else.
Good evening, family. My name is Jeff, and I am the field director for services this afternoon. It's 5:30, and we're going to go ahead and start the program up at this time. So I'm going to step aside, and I'm just going to turn it over to the family to we'll follow the program as printed here, with the exception of the processional. So we will just go ahead and turn it over to the family at this time. Thank you.
Where he stands by Austin Ware. A man is known by what he do when times are tough and skies aren't blue. It's not an ease or calm and bright, but in the dark he shows his light. When others run or turn away, the strongest hearts will choose to stay. Through fear and doubt, they stand their ground, where courage, hope, and truth are found. It takes a heart that dares to care, to face injustice and stand and share, to lift the weak, to right the wrong, and be the voice where none belongs. No easy path can take a toll. Through the fire, we find the goal. A life of purpose, bold and true, is forged in all he dares to do. And when the battle's finally done, he'll stand to see what was won. Not fame or fortune, but something more, a legacy that will forever endure.
Just want to welcome everyone, friends and family who've come from near and far. Some of you may know me. I am Aaron's first cousin. My name is Talia Johnson. And some of you may also remember a day in September 1977. So this is the story of Aaron's life. On a fall day in 1977, God smiled. It was September 12th, and Aaron Stephen Dickerson would begin his life journey in Manhasset, New York. Following a 48-year legacy of touching and lifting hearts, the Lord welcomed Aaron home on Saturday, April 25th, 2026. Driven by boundless energy, intelligence, and a thirst for challenges, Aaron had a passion for improving lives. Expressiveness was his calling card. Aaron discovered and excelled at playing the trumpet in high school and took his talent to Florida A&M University, where he became part of the Marching 100. At FAMU, he majored in political science as his professional path in politics and elections began to take shape. Aaron played a key role in several political campaigns as campaign manager, strategist, and media manager, born out of his ever-present desire to secure African American representation in Congress and state elected offices. Milestones include the congressional campaign of Terry Sewell, Eric Reyes, and New York State Assembly candidate Dee Barrett. In Florida, Aaron was in leadership at NextGen, an effort to raise voter participation. He founded and served as the principal of Open Network, a strategic consulting firm. Aaron's life presence brought purpose, conviction, and heart to everything he touched. Though his time was far too short, the impact he made in the lives he uplifted, the voices he helped amplify, and the love he shared with family will endure. He also knew how to enjoy the moment and was a passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Aaron liked to relax with music and listen to everything from his favorite band, Earth, Wind, and Fire, to the classical masters. Aaron is survived by and was driven by the solid core of values of his mother, Sandra Kellum, his father, Mark Dickerson, his sister-in-law, Teresita Brown Dickerson, and his nieces, Tatiana Elise, Tessa, and Tessa Grace. His aunt, Paula Johnson, several cousins, many of them here today, including Talia Johnson. Aaron's brother, Christopher Dickerson, passed before him. Along with a host of relatives and friends, they are saddened by his passing, and he will be missed beyond words and remembered always. May his memory continue to inspire strength, service, and hope in all who knew him. Today, he rests with his Lord. Thank you.
Truth is I'm tired, options are few. I'm trying to pray, but where are you? I'm all churched out, hurt and abused. I can't pay what's left to do. Truth is I'm weak, no strength to fight, no tears to cry, even if I try. But still my soul refuses to die. One touch will change my life. Take me to the King. I don't have much to bring. My heart's torn in pieces. It's my offering. Lay me at the throne. Leave me there alone to gaze upon your glory and sing to you this song. Please take me to the King. Truth is, it's time to stop playing these games. We need a word for the people's pain. So Lord, speak right now. Let it fall like rain. Oh yeah, we're desperate. We're chasing after you. Oh, no rules, no religion. I made my decision to run to you, the healer that I need. Take me to the King. Don't have much to bring. My heart's torn to pieces. It's my offering. Lay me at the throne. Leave me there alone to gaze upon your glory and to sing to you this song. Glory is the way. We can't make it escape. Glory's not for us, it's all for you. Take me to the King. I don't have much to bring. My heart's torn to pieces. It's my offering. Leave me at the throne. Leave me there. I want to gaze upon your glory. Sing to you. To sing to you this song. Take me to the King. Take me to the King. Take me to the King.
Okay. All right. I think I'm good. Well, good afternoon,
name is Mark Stephen Dickerson. I'm the father of Aaron Stephen Dickerson. I want to thank you all for coming today and letting support. It's a difficult time, to say the least. Well, I remember that it was the evening he was born. I was at the hospital. When I went into work the next day, I had cigars. You know, some of them were actual cigars, some of them were, you know, both of them cigars. I was quite happy and proud to be a father. He also liked Chicago, the movie group, as did I, as I was in the choir and music brothers. So we had somewhat musical things as well as the classical ambitions. After well, I recall the first house that we had, I spent hours putting child safety catches on all the bottom cabins. And by the next day, he figured out how to put them up. And in the playpen, he wasn't staying there. He figured out how to kick his leg up and roll up over the top. Yeah. And I don't really mention that he volunteered to go. Remember Hurricane Katrina and the devastation that was after? He volunteered to go there on his own time, okay, to help with the recovery effort. So that's, you know, they're like a social tax. I have a whole lot to say, but I want to thank Sabrina for accompanying me, because I would not have been able to make this trip. And Talia, my niece, she just came from Toronto this morning to be here with me. Not to mention that she was in New York for work, and she spent some time with me. And that was fun. And my cousin Dave, who came in from Jacksonville, and yes, and my sister Paula, who drove in from Gainesville, and Richard. Richard is not like family, he is family. He came in from Atlanta to be able to pick us up at the airport. So I'm standing here by myself, and to weakness comes strength. It's kind of biblical, not like it is. So that's about all I have to say. Just say thank everybody that, I hope I didn't miss anybody. I probably did, but I want to thank you all for coming to support us at this time of loss, this time of grief. Thank you. Okay. All right. Does anybody would like to come up and say a few words, some reflections that you might have?
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to take a couple minutes to talk about my cousin. Aaron was very special. I admired him because he chose to do things that he was passionate about. It's not easy to have a job, but it's harder when you stand 10 toes down and say, hey, I love this thing and I want to do this. And so I absolutely admired his character and the type of person that he was. We spent our time together up on Bixwood Drive and in Swickley, Pennsylvania. And I spent a lot of time there. I lived there, for some years, and I really enjoyed his company. When his mom, Aunt Sandy, would bring him up to visit, he and Chris were my playmates, and I really enjoyed playing with them. We spent a lot of time in the basement, running around that pole. A lot of time playing the games that were left over probably from my aunts, my uncles, and my dad. I loved him very much. He was wise. He had a protective heart and spirit. And I had just talked to him a few weeks ago. I do want to say that because for some reason I just felt moved to call him. I was telling him, hey, I'm coming down. It's the summertime. I haven't been down here in a few years. And I said, hey, I'm taking a week. I'm going to be down July 20th through, I don't know. And I said, I don't know what's going on, but I want to see you. And we had a great conversation. I was telling him, hey, we're getting old. I said, hey, I'm going to be 50 this year. So I know you're right behind me. And we just talked a lot about life. We talked about our cousins, how we were watching them grow up and, get along. And we talked about his beautiful nieces and how much he loved them and how much he desired to stay in their lives, on behalf of his brother, whom he loved very much. And I am absolutely, extremely saddened by his passing because it was too soon. We talked about his wedding and how it was very memorable. We laughed about it. It had been enough time that we could laugh, right? So we laughed about the girl in the wedding party that fell out. We laughed about how I had to sing the song for like 5 minutes. We laughed about how his wife sang Whitney Houston. And that was quite a memorable experience for us. And I loved spending time with him over Thanksgiving. I think we all were sitting around laughing at Dolly Parton that year that she performed. And I had to stand up and say something. I loved him very much. And although I was 1 year older than him, I believe, I still looked at him as though he was a big cousin. And I spent many, times in our conversations talking about my son. And, I just want to say one thing about how his love for politics. I want to believe that this was developed by spending time on 412 Bixwood Drive in the basement with all of that conversation about politics and Jesse Jackson and the state of Black people. And I would like to believe that he, walked in the footsteps of my grandfather, George Adams, and wanting to make a difference and wanting to use his presence and intelligence and ability to do administration and organize to help people. One last thing, he did visit me in DC one time. Well, more than once, right? But he came and he was working with this lady that was running for Congress. And I want to believe her name was Gladys. And she came into town and they both came to town. We went somewhere, we sat and had some drinks and hung out. And, I just really loved and just appreciated him being a part of my family. And I loved seeing how Aunt Sandy would have them so nice and sharp. They were like little grown men when they were young, both of them. And so I thank you, Aunt Sandy, just for, grooming him to be this wonderful cousin of mine that I loved and looked up to and admired. So thank you all for, coming to support the family. And I just wanted to say these few words. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Big cousin Aaron. He was like the calm, steady big brother of the cousin crew. The reasonable one in the middle of all of the chaos. He always showed up, played along as a cousin, even though he always gave more of an unk vibe. Aaron had a way of making you feel comfortable enough to open up and talk to him. And when you did, he listened. He would nod his head, hear you out, and never make you feel judged. There was never a harsh lecture following, mistakes, or judgy comments. If he gave advice, it came from a gentle place. And for someone like me, that meant a lot. He never overstepped, never did too much, and that's just how he lived his life. He spoke on what he knew, and he was very knowledgeable about the things he cared about, including Steelers football and politics. I could always depend on him for thoughtful advice and conversation when it came to those two topics. But it was more than politics and Steelers. Aaron was someone who genuinely made you feel comfortable talking to him and being around him. When I moved to Orlando as a young adult, I just knew Aaron was going to be the best wingman. I was all of 22. He tried and he would take me out. Let's just say it wasn't always his cup of tea. I think Jay came with us a few times to the Blue Martini. But he would still let me drag him around and just kind of play along. I'll never forget when he took me to Fleming's one time. We had a steak dinner and he ordered the Pittsburgh style steak. He explained it to me the way it was cooked is what made it the Pittsburgh style steak. It seemed like such a small moment, but it's one that I'll always remember because that's how time with Aaron was. Simple, genuine, and comforting. He always checked on me, made sure I was okay, like I'm sure he did with all the cousins. He loved his mother and his brother deeply. They were his world. And Sandy, I'm so sorry. I know you're going to stay strong. But you are one of the strongest, most resilient women I know. I pray you find the peace and comfort and that you continue being an amazing grandmother to the grandkids. Keep his memory alive. And to Tessa and Tiana, he loved you both so much. I know he will continue to watch over you and give you little favors, and you can look up and know it's your unc. But just because he's gone doesn't mean you don't have plenty of uncles that you can call on. You guys have aunts and uncles. You have plenty of nieces and nephews that are right here for you guys. We're here for you guys. We love you guys.
My name's Alex. Aaron was my cousin. They always say that your cousin is your first friend. And I can honestly say that was the truth. My brother and I were born out in San Diego, and after my dad retired from baseball, we moved back to Pittsburgh, where my mom was from. She was her family. And there's not a weekend that I can remember from the time I was like 4 until I was like, 17, 18, that we weren't together. Cousin Aaron taught me how to play spades, which I hate until this day. I would rather give you my left toe than play a game of spades because he taught me how to play and then he gave up on me. But he said it would make me a stronger person. My middle name is Lucille, after my great-grandmother, and she passed away with my mom, who is Sandy's cousin, was like 16. And so my mom's side of the family called me Lucy. And for the longest time, I hated it. That wasn't my name. My name was Alexandra, or Alex. And it just used to irritate me to my soul when everyone called me Lucy. And I remember Aunt Becky and Uncle George came down. And Becky called me everything but Alex. She called me Alexis. She called me Alexa. She called me Alexandria. Aaron said, "You still don't want anyone to call you Lucy." But when I put my foot down, Aaron was one of the first ones that said, "That's a prerogative." She was going to be called Lucy. She can be called Alex. And Aaron was one of the first ones that got on the bandwagon, called me Alex. We used to play Jeopardy on whatever gaming station they had, Nintendo, Sega, whatever. And Aaron used to say, well, in order for it to be fair, it's got to be, you know, Chris and Alex, and then me and David, because David was the youngest. And then when Aaron realized that I knew more pop culture than he could have possibly dreamed of, somehow he finagled a way for me to be on his team. Because Aaron and I shared a love for music. My music to this day is eclectic. I remember when Aaron was playing the trumpet, I used to like Dizzy Gillespie. Blow his cheeks up, and Aaron would try to do that for me. And Aaron let me try his trumpet one time, and I still think I haven't caught my breath from that. I can remember Aaron was so cerebral and so smart and had a reasoning for everything. He should have been an attorney. And somehow or another, he convinced his mother to get a dog. Now, if you're an Adams, you know that Sandy is deathly afraid of dogs. My mother tried to talk her out of it, but anything those boys wanted, Sandy made it happen. So they go to the Humane Society and they get this dog. This dog drove the short bus of dogs. There was something wrong with this dog. It was like, what was that, Cocker Spaniel mix or something? First time we went over there, it tried to bite my brother, so Sandy wasn't having that, not biting her baby David. So the next time we went over there, knocked on the door, hold on, gotta put the dog up, and then you hear all this noise, like they were getting robbed. And then everyone came to the door. What is going on? Oh, we had to put Sparky up. Okay. So fast forward, we're out of school for some holiday, must have been over Christmas, and Sandy decided that she was gonna make turkey. And then the boys would have lunch meat, she was gonna make turkey pot pie, she was gonna make turkey this, turkey that, whatever. And her and my mom, I don't know how you kept the job, Sandy, because you and my mom and Shenda, you two Shenda, you guys were on the phone all the time. You solely kept the landline running. So Sandy tells my mom what she's gonna do, and she said, Pam, can you do me a favor? Can you call Aaron at such and such a time and remind him to take the turkey out? I don't want the turkey to burn. Mom says, yeah, sure, whatever. She writes to him down. Time comes, mom calls Aaron. Aaron says, I've already got the turkey out, Pam, like it's good. I'm gonna let it chill, let it cool, put some tinfoil over it. You know, when mom comes home, she'll cut it up, put it in the refrigerator. So Chris and Aaron go on to do whatever it was Chris and Aaron were doing that day. About 25, 30 minutes later, the phone rang, and it was Aaron. He said, Pam, mom's gonna kill me. She said, well, what happened, Aaron? Nothing's that serious. Sparky ate the turkey. So Aaron was bracing himself for a tongue lashing from my mother, because you have not gotten a tongue lashing until you had one from Pamela Adams Cash. And she told Aaron, you know what, Aaron, that's what your mother gets. She had no business getting that dog. She's afraid of that dog. So if she says anything to you, I got you. And sure enough, Aaron called. Sandy was mad, tried to blame it on Aaron, and somehow Sandy still got in trouble because Aaron was mommy's baby. Aaron could do no wrong. Her and Aaron, they would debate, and she would challenge Aaron to see where he was, and he had a fact and a reasoning for everything. Aaron was the big cousin that would dare you to do something knowing you were gonna get in trouble, but would take the heat for you when it came down to it. I have so many wonderful memories, and the core memories of my childhood are there. They followed us to Florida. We lived here first, and about 6 months later, they came, and Aaron used to help me with my math homework and my chemistry because he was tired of my mom yelling at me because I couldn't get it. He was tired of hearing me cry. Aaron encouraged me when like I said, my music taste is eclectic. Chris used to make fun of me. What are you listening to that rock for? Aaron would say, that's what she wants to listen to it. Make her a better person. I pay attention to politics and I vote because of Aaron. tried to ride a bike because of Aaron. And like I said, I had my spades, big whiz. I know so many facts and useless information because of the things that we would talk about, because Aaron was into deep conversations. Well, why? Well, why? Well, why? And I don't know if he knows it or not, but he helped make me a better person, a deeper thinker. And I hate that the years went by and life lifed and we lost touch. But I know that if he ever needed me, I'd have been there. And I know that if I ever needed him, he would have been there too. And I just, you know, I'm still in shock and I hate that it ends like this. But Tatiana, Tessa, I loved your dad and your uncle. Like I said, they were my first friends, my best friends. I'm here if you need anything. Sammy, before I came along, there was you. Mommy always took care of you. And so, if I don't take care of you, all my dishes are gonna fly out of my cabinet at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm sure. And I love them, and like I said, I wish I could go back in time and change some things, but you can't change, you can only learn and move on and push through and be a better person for them.
Good evening. I am Richard. Used to be Richard Mells, now Richard Lyons. Don't ask, it's a long story. I am the stray cat that stayed. I'm glad. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. I took try to get through this. I took the stance from Chris. Because Chris was one of my best friends, pretty much my best friend in high school. And that's when I showed up. Not necessarily on their doorstep, but I got we'll just say Chris made it happen. Anyway. So I didn't meet Aaron until later on, a couple of years later on. Joining up the family, I believe, was the first time. Yeah, so me and this young kid coming in. Chris and Aaron were towering kids. I'm 6'2", but I'm still not, I'm not Chris and Aaron. So, Aaron used to give me this side look. And like I said, I mocked what Chris gave. I was like, okay, yeah, you got an older brother, I get it. You don't scare me, whatever. You scare no Aaron. You show up, I'm like, this dude's big. So, it took a while. He used to give me a side eye. It was a big brother side eye, and it was an appreciated side eye. When his younger brother passed, we got to bond a little bit more and have some real conversations that showed he understood. Aaron was appreciated. He was also energetic. You couldn't argue with him on anything. I wouldn't dare talk about the Bucks to the Steelers. Yeah, Aaron was I'm not sure if he knew it, but he was my version of a big brother. I have 8 biological brothers, but Aaron was my big brother that actually cared and showed it. We talked about trumpets. We got into how important the Stradivarius was. Nerd stuff, right? But he was my big brother, still is. I can think about the crazy political, like just to be a fly on the wall with his mother and Chris and Aaron. Oh, it used to be amazing to experience that. It's appreciated. It was used in my meetings, in my professional life. So if only you guys could understand the fierceness that I used from you all. And still used. But my big brother, to his mother, I love you. To his father, I love you. To his family, I love you. I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss his experience. But it's all good. This is a happy day because it's God's way. But Aaron was a guy who was very, very appreciated, very loved. The Aaron experience. If only I could tell him how I know his middle name is Stephen. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Sean McCoy. Aaron was my brother. No other way to describe our relationship. Met Aaron in high school. I don't know how many of you have ever watched is it Key and Peele? Yeah. They have a little skit where they are in a drama club or a singing group or whatever, and they're the only 2 black people in the group. And I don't know if you've seen the pictures of the band where they wear kilts.
Right.
But Aaron and I, for a long time, were the only 2 black males in that organization. And so when he first came, he had on his Steelers coat. He used to wear this long Steelers coat to school. And I remember us having our Key and Peele moment. It was, this tension, because we're the only 2 black people in the group, and I'm, trying to fill them out and figure it out. And Jay was there. Jay is my Filipino connection there.
The oldest in the whole school.
So we were the minority male group. And once we got through that tension, he became my brother. And either I was in his car going somewhere, he was in my car going somewhere. We were at Mom's house when she wasn't there, skipping school. As I began to think about what I would say to you all on today, just stories started running through my mind, and just hearing all of your stories on today has made me feel better. And really and truly, I realized that life is stories. That each of us has stories that we can tell about our experience with Aaron. Most of mine will go with me to my grave. I can't really say them out loud. Not in front of mom anyway. I won't do that. You know, we talked about how people like to say, you know, get overwhelmed at funerals and they just say the first thing that comes to their head. So I won't do that. Don't be afraid. But I have so many stories. And there are two I want to share with you, and then I'll be done. My college roommate, Robert, is back there. Robert, yeah. We all moved off of campus together. We moved in 2 different apartments. I moved with Rob in one apartment, and literally 2 doors down, Aaron moved with his college roommate there. And so we decided we want to cook some chicken and fry up some chicken and get over to Aaron's house and chicken's on, and I tell you, it looked so good. It's ready to eat. I said, man, you cook this chicken? He's like, yeah, I cooked this chicken. And took a bite out of the chicken, and the chicken was still barking. And I tell you that story because it was just the type of friendship where we were that close knit. We would become. I lived with him for a while, or in the same place as him. We gathered together often. It was like family. And so we never had a reason to feel like there was no extension of family. We were family. And that's about his character and about who he is as a person. You don't have to be blood, even though you have bloody chicken. You didn't have to be blood to be family. With him, we were family, and he treated us like family. So many rides going from Clearwater over to Ybor and listening to the music that you just heard playing. We're going to the club now. We're going to hang out. We're not listening to club music on the way over. We're listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire in his car. Just special moments and lots of stories. The second story that I remember is a little bit more personal because my grandfather, he was ill for a long time, and he was in a nursing home, and he had cancer. And I had come to visit him maybe 2 weeks before he passed away. And I'd spent my money and all my resources on getting here so I could spend time with him in his last moments. Gotten back to Atlanta, and when he passed, I didn't have any money to get back. I didn't have any money to get back to Clearwater. And so I called Aaron and I said, Aaron, I need to get back to Clearwater. My grandfather passed away, and he had this old raggedy Jeep torn down. The air conditioning didn't even work. We're talking about in the summer in Florida. And Aaron didn't hesitate. He said, I'll come get you. Called Jay. And he and Jay drove up and drove back in one day to come and pick me up. In one of my lowest moments, he was there for me. And that's the kind of person that we're talking about here today. These are the kinds of stories that continue with each of us. And I think the call for all of us is to remember the stories, to don't forget the stories that God has given us. In this moment, we're saddened because our friend's life has dimmed. But remember the stories. The stories is what will take you through. Every story will bring you peace, will bring you joy. And not all of those stories are good stories, but they ended good. They were for my good. And so I'm grateful for the stories. And you should be grateful for the stories. We all should be grateful for the stories. I want to say this and I'm done. So grateful for his parents for allowing me this opportunity. And I know we talk, but there's a verse in the Bible when Jesus is on the cross and he looks down at his friends and he looks down at his mom and he says, "Mother, this is your son. And son, this is your mother. And I want you to know, Mom, that this is your son. And anything you need. I told you I'm been real light this week, but I just want to make sure you're okay. And I'm gonna check on you, and because that's my brother, and I know his heart towards you. I know his heart towards all of you, his family. He loved you all, spoke of you all, hung out with some of you, and grateful for that. Also, Mom, I just want to let you know, some the young ladies who are in the picture that are with us, they are here with us as well. Yeah, we're still family, and so we're here for you, and we love you all. God bless you all. Yes.
I love you. And I knew some of that stuff.
Don't tell nobody.
Just swim down the Hamilton's move uptown and learn to live with the unimaginable.
Some hours in the garden, walk alone to the store. It's quiet uptown. I never liked the quiet before. I take the children to church on Sunday. The sign of across the door, and I pray. That never used to happen before.
If you see him in the street, walking by himself, talking to himself, have pity.
You would like it uptown, it's quiet uptown.
He is working through the unimaginable.
His hair is gone gray, he passes every day. They say he wants the length of the city.
You knock me out, I fall apart.
Can you imagine?
Look at where we are. Look at where we started. I know I don't deserve you a lot. Hear me out. That would be enough. If I could spare his life, if I could trade his life for mine, he'd be standing here right now. You would smile, that would be enough. I don't pretend to know the challenges we're facing. I know there's no replacing what we've lost. But I'm not afraid. I know who I married. Just let me stay here by your side. That would be enough.
If you see him in the street, walking by your side, talking by your side, have pity.
Eliza, do you like it uptown? It's quiet uptown.
He is trying to do the unimaginable. See him walking in the park, long after dark, taking in the sights of the city.
Look around,
Forgiveness. Can you imagine? Forgiveness. Can you imagine? You see him in the street, walking by your side, talking by your side, happy. They are going through the unimaginable.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming today and celebrating Aaron's life. You don't know how much it's appreciated. And I hope that every time you hear a trumpet, you hear a political debate, you see a mother hug their son, or you hear Earth, Wind, and Fire song, you think about him and everyone that loved him and all that he loved. Thank you.
Come on, let's go. All right. Okay.
We're going to end the services today. We're going to ask everyone to please stand and exit throughout the record.
Okay.